Hi there, it's me, Teacher Mike from phuketpals. Welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be looking at what is the GED extended response. Well, I can tell you one thing that it is. It's something that strikes fear into the hearts of all GED RLA students. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you what's in it and hopefully make you all feel a bit calmer before you start studying for this particular extended response. Okay, it's the essay component of the RLA test. Now, if you're not sure what the RLA test is, that means the Reasoning Through Language Arts test on the GED examination. Okay, this means the English reading and writing component. And in there you have to do an essay, and it's also known as the extended response. You've got 45 minutes to do this essay, and on the surface that seems like quite a lot of time, but believe you me, once you dig into what you have to do in this essay, you don't have time for anything, and you'll see that in a moment. It's worth about 20% of your RLA score, approximately 20% of your RLA score. So this is a large chunk of your score. Students who get the higher scores, students who get 165 and over, 175, these very high scores in RLA, they're usually students who have done well in the extended response as well. Now it is possible to get a 145 diploma pass with getting a 0 in the essay and kind of foregoing this 20%. But if you're aiming for higher scores, I strongly advise you listen up and do the work that's necessary. Okay, so you need to write about 4 to 7 paragraphs, that's what I recommend. And if you do that, you're looking at about 300 to 500 words. So this is a meaty essay. It's not a tiny little essay like the old GED. This is something much more sizable and much more substantial. What do you have to do? What do you have to do in this essay? You have to read, analyze, evaluate, and write. Let me explain those in a bit more detail. When I say read, what you will see when you start the test is that you have 2 articles. Okay, each article has about 3 to 4, maybe 5 pages in it, and one article will have an opposite opinion to the other one. Okay, so you have to read article 1, and there are little tabs along the top. You'll see a box just like this. On one side you'll see the reading with little tabs along the top for each page, and you click on the tab and you tab 1, tab 2, tab 3 to kind of go through the different reading pages. You have to read that, read both articles and decide which of the articles has the better supported argument. Now the thing is, both of them will have evidence that supports their argument, but you have to decide which of the passages has the better supported piece, which is quite difficult. So you have to read closely, you have to analyze, so you have to decide, what language is the writer using that makes his argument strong, or how is the writer making his argument strong? The arguments he makes, do they provide weak evidence or strong evidence? Does he provide strong statistical data to back up his argument? Does he use, professors or doctors or other people who have status within a particular field to back up his arguments? Or is it more opinion based? Okay, so you have to analyze that. Then once you've analysed the arguments used in both passages, then you have to evaluate those arguments. So again, we're going to another higher order thinking skill here. We have analysis, which is a higher order thinking skill, and again we have evaluation. This means you have to look at all of the arguments that you've highlighted in both of the texts, then decide which of them is actually better supported. Which one is stronger? Are the arguments in Article A stronger than the arguments in Article B, or vice versa? Then you have to write an essay based on this, okay? And this essay must use your own ideas and explanations, okay? Don't just copy chunks from the articles. You need to really state clearly and precisely which of the 2 articles you believe has the stronger supported evidence. And then you can compare and contrast them. Don't just write about them in isolation from each other. You need to kind of compare and contrast them a little bit. And you can see that in another video I've done. I'll put a link below actually I did a whole series on the extended response that you can check out on our YouTube page, okay? Things not to do: don't only summarize. Now this is really important. Many students just look at Article A and Article B, or Article 1 and 2, whatever, and they'll say Article 1 has stronger evidence. And then what they do in their essay is they kind of summarize the points. They summarize the evidence that they feel makes it stronger. You can't do that, okay? It's not asking you to do that. It's asking you to analyze and evaluate. You need to make comparisons in there. You need to support your opinion with things like quotations. You use evidence from the text. Okay, now that means you can take chunks out and quote them in there if you want. But then you need to explain how does this quote add strength to the writer's argument? Perhaps it's a statistical piece of data. And you might say, well, how does this provide a stronger argument? Well, you say that this statistic comes from could be a government department that is highly trusted, or it comes from a scientist with a long career and a very trusted scientist. So that could be how the quote adds value to the writer's argument. And then why? Well, you also have to talk about why the quotation, or why the writer's argument is in fact stronger. Okay, so you're looking at whether the evidence itself is strong or weak. And again, that's another video that would take us a long time to explain that today. So that's pretty much it. Okay, that's what's in the extended response. What I need you to focus on is really this part here. You need to focus on your reading skills, reading closely. You need to read large amounts of good quality information. Okay, I recommend websites like commonlit.org, commonlit.org. It's very good. Commonlit.org, or you can use websites like newsela.org, or is it .com? I can't remember. Newsela, that's NEWSELA.org or .com. You need to check that out. Also, don't forget like quality news sources like the BBC website, the Guardian website, and things like this. So you need to be reading daily and a lot. Then you also need to analyze, and this is where commonlit.org website comes in very, very useful, because in there each little lesson has a question sheet, and you can use that question sheet, and there are many analysis questions. Same with evaluation. These are two higher order thinking skills that you don't just have them, you have to practice and kind of bit by bit raise your level. And also writing as well, so you should be writing large amounts. And again, if you go to the commonlit.org website, on the worksheet for each lesson there are writing parts there. So get in, do that daily practice, and don't just focus on trying to find, past exam questions for the extended response, because there aren't that many out there. It's a skills-based essay. So if you improve all of these skills, then you can apply them to doing these things in the exam. And what I usually advise students is in a few weeks before the exam, only then start looking at past questions from the extended response. Spend the bulk of your time sharpening your skills in these areas, and then you'll do well. Okay, that's it from me, Teacher Mike from Phuket Pals. Have a good day. Thank you.